Good evening and welcome back to Chris and Ruff Productions. As always, I am Chris. I hope you're having a wonderful night. So, as you see, I'm going to be discussing The Bride, which is an up and coming film directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. This film is a movie starring the bride of the Bride of Frankenstein and the monster of Frankenstein. This is going to be a twist that we haven't seen on screen, and it's going to be, like I mentioned, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. This is going to be her second film that she's going to be at the helm of. As you see right here, we have the first official images of our bride and our monster. So the monster has a very distinct design. We'll get into the casting right now. But as you see, he has some tattoos on his chest. So it's going to be a very different type of take on the monster. And on the left, as you see the bride, she has a splatter of it appears to be some black ink. So I know that's going to be a very distinct look for the bride as well. So who's going to be playing the bride and the monster? Well, the bride is going to be played by Jesse Buckley. Um, she's done a various amount of projects. I haven't seen some of her work, but I definitely will be checking out some of the stuff that she's done. I think she has a very distinct look to be the bride, like I mentioned right now, with the makeup and everything. So I'm very looking forward to see how she does as that character. And obviously, we have Christian Bale as the monster. Christian Bale, a synonymous actor, very legendary in this generation and for many. So he's finally going to be able to do the monster. And the reason why I say finally is because he is an auteur, of course. And I think there are many iterations of the monster, and to see how he handles his character, I'm very much looking forward to it. So I'm gonna get into some set images. It doesn't reveal no spoilers. It's just them, the characters on set, the bride and the monster. Let's go ahead and get into that. So as you see here, they are filming in New York City. On the left is just a set image of Jesse and Christian. I don't know what they're doing. They're just walking on set. Obviously, they're in the middle of filming. And on the right is an image of the monster Christian Bell in this very muddy, rusty looking trench coat with a mask on his face. So I think he's going to be able to be in public, but he's going to have his face covered. And obviously, next to Christian Bell is Maggie Gyllenhaal, the director. So they're filming in New York City. Um, and I'll get into later on what the setting of this movie is going to be. But Christian Bale and Maggie Gyllenhaal, they get to reunite, obviously, from The Dark Knight, where Batman and Rachel. Um, where's Rachel? That's all I got to say. And right here, I think, like I mentioned, there are so many set images that's come from the last couple of days because they're filming in New York City. There's only so much cover you can do. But every image is pretty much the same shot, them walking down the street. It kind of sets the setting of where they're going to be. But before we get into the setting, let's get into a quote. Um, so this was an article, I believe, by the Indie Wire by Peter Skarsgard, something like that. I forget his last name. The husband of Maggie Gyllenhaal, who's also going to be in this film. He said it's this big romantic, deeply romantic, wild punk monster movie. Um, and the reason why I chose this quote from the article is because I think it encapsulates what they're going to be going for. A punk type of look on these two characters. And it's interesting because when you think of punk, what do you think of the 70s and 80s, right? When you think of the groundwork of what rebellion, tattoos, um, sort of like you know different outside of society type of thing. But this is going to be sort of different because it takes place in the 1930s Chicago. So you're going to be seeing a bride and a monster going through the streets of Chicago in the 1930s with these designs and these looks that I think a lot of people are going to be in this film sort of shocked to see. I think they're going to be more shocked to see tattoos on somebody than a walking corpse. Um, but I think I like this a lot because the original film, The Bride of Frankenstein, was shot in the 1930s. So to have a movie based on those characters set in that time period of when the movie was shot, I think it's very, very interesting. I just want to get into a couple more things before we wrap up. Skarsgård, he's going to be playing a detective following the couple. The reason why I bring this up is because there's been images of sort of like detectives walking through the streets. There's been old 1930s vehicles on the streets, so obviously set in the 30s. And if they're going to be leaning into sort of a 1930s noir, I think that adds an extra layer of what this film can do. Peter Skarsgård, obviously, tremendous actor. Most recently, from what I remember, he was in the Batman, Matt Reeves. He's the husband of Maggie Gyllenhaal, so you're gonna have a little, power couple move right there. Director, actor. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does as the detective. And as of right now, there's no release date. I'm assuming it's gonna come out next year. I don't believe there's any way for it to come out this year. We're in what, May? If you're gonna do a Bride movie, Frankenstein movie, the monster, you're gonna want it to come out during October. October is in a few months, so I'm thinking obviously next year, 2025. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say October, but who knows? Maybe they don't need to wait that long. Who knows how long it's gonna take to post production. So I don't have an exact date. I'm just assuming October 2025 because it fits and because it's not going to come out this year. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it on what I have for The Bride. There's not much out there. There's set images, but it's pretty much the same set image every time of them walking down the street. So, what are your thoughts on this film? What are you looking forward to most? For me, I'm looking forward just to seeing a different take on these characters because I am a massive, massive fan of the Universal monsters. And I'm deeply invested in these characters. I watch those movies all the time, like literally. So to see this type of take on it, I am looking forward to it. So, guys, as always, I am Chris. If you're still watching, please like, share, and subscribe. As always, I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.